Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Just Parlays with Chris King. Chris, I just noticed from the intro, you get the featuring, and I'm like along with.
Well, that's the way it was with Jim too. But yeah, I didn't do the intro because I wouldn't have had the Mets in there, or half of those other teams. Because,
yeah, we might have to revamp that to starring and then along with the one and only Chris King, something like that. So,
Bobby Brain Heenan, I'm the host of this show.
This show should be called "I Hope You Like Baseball," because we've got no hockey. And
no, there's hockey. Everybody plays tonight except for Winnipeg.
Oh, this is the last night. That's right. That's correct. Right. This is the last night. So, my bad. So we've got some hockey. We've got no basketball though. We got one.
No, there's one NBA
basketball game. We got the M&Ms playing, and that's it.
Yep.
So yeah, good times. So yeah, well, that makes me more excited that there's some hockey involved. So.
It does. You don't even like hockey.
I like hockey. I just don't. I don't know enough. I didn't grow up with it. I didn't get involved with hockey until later in life, and it's not my favorite sport to bet on because I don't feel like I have the knowledge base that I do with some other sports. So
I thought you were going to say because you haven't had a team since the Kansas City Scouts left.
I love the Scouts. They're still around.
Yeah, but they're not in Kansas City.
Oh, no, I didn't say that, but they're still around. The Kansas City Scouts are still here. We actually have the Kansas City Mavericks now, buddy.
Oh,
I can step out my back door and see the arena. It's pretty cool.
Now, do you know where the Kansas City Scouts play now?
The Kansas City Scouts are now the New Jersey Devils.
Right. Where were they in between?
They were the Colorado, whatever the hell they were, not the Avalanche.
The Colorado Rockies.
They were the Rockies. That's the name that jumped to my mind. I'm like, no, that can't be right. So yeah,
coached by Don Cherry.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Michael Dost in the house. What up, Michael Dost? And Michael's a Broncos fan. He's not thrilled about the Chiefs getting Karlaftis.
Yeah, he said he was going to stay up to see who Karlaftis went to in the draft because he's a Purdue graduate. We talked about that during the tournament. So I can understand why he wouldn't be happy about that.
Well, sorry, I'm kind of happy about that.
What do you make of them trading up to get McDuffie, Scott? Were you happy with that move?
I'm happier than people in Buffalo were.
I don't know if they were crazy about McDuffie or not. I know that Bean said that Elam was the last guy on his draft board that had a first round grade. I think that's why he moved up 2 spots. Giving up a fourth rounder doesn't really affect or bother me too much because the fourth rounder they got when they traded Lee Smith to the Falcons. And no, we're not talking about Lee Smith, the closer. We're talking about Lee Smith, the 7th string tight end.
That was pretty fair deal. No, I liked McDuffie. I really thought part of that move was the fact that the Chiefs need a cornerback. I thought the other part was they didn't want Buffalo to have a cornerback. So
unfortunately, they still got a corner. So,
well, but they, you need more than one. You really need 3 in today's environment. So, hey, Chris, and we'll drop the draft talk here in just a minute. But do you think it's more important to have an edge rusher or a cornerback? What do you think is the more important position?
Are you basing it off just a regular run-of-the-mill defense?
I'm basing it off of what a defense needs the most to face the offenses that are in today's NFL.
Boy, that's tough. I mean, obviously you'd like to have an edge rusher so you can, get pressure on the quarterback, but provided that you don't get home, you've got to have a corner out there that can shut down receivers. I'd probably lean corner because, like you said, it's such a pass-happy league now.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And with everybody in the shotgun and the pistol, the release times are so much lower than they used to be.
Yeah, I mean, people always just talk about Dan Marino back in the 80s where he'd get rid of the ball so quick, but, now that's just commonplace.
Yeah, agreed.
And Marino would look slow.
Yep, I absolutely agree. Jim Williams says corner.
Some guy named Jim Williams chiming in. I mean, who is this guy?
I'm totally on board with the corner as well. I think it's almost as important to have good tackles to get a push up the middle. Because if you ask NFL quarterbacks, they can move laterally. They don't mind shifting their feet, moving side to side. When you don't have a clean pocket to step up in, that's when it becomes a problem. So
Michael said he was hoping you were going to wear the Nakobe Dean pink suit with hat today for the show.
Man, I could rock that son of a bitch. I'll tell you what.
Great. This is just like yesterday where you were talking about how Rachel talks about how you can hit people.
My wife, I can't remember whose dad had the white suit with the white hat.
I don't remember who it was.
My wife said that's what you should be wearing. So absolutely right. Pink suit, white suit. I don't actually own a suit right now, Chris. I dumped all my suits when I left the casino. I swore
I don't blame you.
would never wear another suit unless it was a wedding or a funeral. And I haven't attended either one since. I went to my dad's funeral. We all wore Chiefs gear because my dad was a huge Chiefs fan. And last thing, he hated wearing a tie. He was in management his whole life, wore clip-on ties. God bless him, but that man gave not two shits about dressing up. So, hey, don't forget to like and subscribe, all that stuff. Hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe to our YouTube channels. That's right, both Winners and Whiners and Max Wagers Network. We really appreciate it if you guys get over there and blow up Max Wagers Network. There's a lot of cool content over there. So please, if you get an opportunity, get over to the YouTube side of Max Wagers Network and smash that subscribe button. Of course, don't forget to check out all the cool deals we got going with our partners. It's almost, Chris, the last day of our DraftKings promo that expires May 1st.
Indeed.
So if you're a baseball fan, if you like wagering, make sure you stop by DraftKings. If you have DraftKings in your state, I hope you do. Go ahead and get the.
If you don't stop by because it won't do you any good.
Or maybe you'll be fumble fucks like the state of Missouri, who let sports betting go down in flames again yesterday because they can't get away from including video lottery terminals in the sports betting bill. FML.
Oh, is that what was going on? I saw your son was talking about that. I thought maybe that they actually rammed it through, but I guess not.
Nope, they rammed it through in Kansas.
So that's what it was. Okay,
I can drive 20 minutes from my house and sit in the McDonald's parking lot and make bets here, probably for the NFL season.
So you're like Reichel.
Well, he was too lazy to do it. He'd have all these great deals. I got to go to New Jersey. Oh God, it's like 40 minutes. I got to fucking take the car, ride the train, and that's New York. So you got a train that goes anywhere.
Yeah, take the car. Come on. Do you think Reichel drives?
No. He does, but I don't think I don't think he drives much. So
unless there was food involved, or a new place to nap, he's not driving anywhere.
Liquor. He'll go for liquor. But anyway.
Okay.
Check out DraftKings. Bet $5 on any Major League Baseball game. If your bet wins, you win not only your bet, but you win $200 in free bets with DraftKings. And you must be physically located. Here's the depressing list. I sang it yesterday as Johnny Cash. I'm not going to try that again. Arizona, Colorado. Yeah, see, the first two flow really well. Then you get in trouble. Arizona, Colorado, Connecticut, Iowa, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, Wyoming, or West Virginia. Must be 21 years of age or older, except in New Hampshire and Wyoming, which is funny because New Hampshire doesn't have DraftKings. So there you go.
And I know Reichel was complaining yesterday too because in New York there were no draft props because part of the legislation that was hammered through when they allowed legalized sports betting in New York was it had to be a sporting event.
Yeah, sporting event.
They don't consider the draft an event.
So I guess making my American Idol bets probably aren't going to work out very well either.
I guess people were complaining they couldn't make Oscar bets there either. So
wait till the elections. I live for the elections and to bet on the elections.
You bet on the elections?
Oh yeah. I made more on the elections in 2020 than I did in one night than I did all of.
Now remember, folks, if you have a gambling problem, you might want to call 1-800-GAMBLER and tell them Scott Steen sent you.
You know what? You go back and you listen to our election preview, and if you watch that and you took our advice, you made a shit ton of money. That's all I'm saying. And we'll do it again, and we'll try it in 2022 with the midterms. Probably not as many opportunities, but when in 2024 with the presidential elections in all the states, we'll clean up once again. So,
and also don't forget, if you're interested in the premium picks that Scott and I have, you can find those down in the show box too. Though I don't know if Scott's are there, but
they're not. No, I need to start putting that in there. So yeah, you just go to the Winners and Whiners Expert Picks tab, and you'll find my picks as well. We've been running pretty good lately. We've been really well on NBA. We're 16-5 our last 21 NBA picks. So we got one loaded up for tonight, along with a couple of basketballs or baseballs rather. So
yep. Yeah. Chris Lyons just asked if you had any video picks for today.
Do I have any? I don't have any. I'm not doing the premium because when they added all this stuff, doing extra shows, I stopped doing video picks for the premium. It just kind of seemed a little bit redundant, but I do have 3 picks for tonight, Chris, if you're interested. So the codes are in the show description. Make sure you use the promo code for DraftKings. That's WAW video. And the link is there as well. It is a hot link, as they say. You can just click on that. It'll open it right up. Hey, Chris, what do you got going on at Caesars?
Well, I mean, at Caesars right now, you've got the first bet guarantee where you can put up, they'll match your bet up to $1,100. So if you lose, you get a free bet and that amount of money. If you win, you get your money and you still get the bet coverage.
Beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, and for that, the link is also in the show box below, but the promo code is ATS wins CZR, and Scott will tell you that that's the stock code for Caesars because he likes to watch it going down. Kind of like
I feel bad about talking about one of our partners, the stock price going down, but it's been all right lately.
Kind of like
we started doing the promo, it's definitely gone up.
Yeah, unlike Rochelle's dating average, which is currently batting below the Mendoza line.
I thought I roasted Rochelle a lot. You are on his jock like every day, man. I'm telling you. What, you don't like the cut of his jib? What's your deal, man?
I don't like the hair. I mean,
it's the hair. The fact that he can grow it.
No, the fact he looks like a Cabbage Patch Kid.
He's got all that extra hair. You don't need all that hair, you swarthy bastard. So I think is this the weekend he's moving?
Is he moving? I didn't know.
He's going to Brooklyn. We'll have to
no
talk
kidding.
We'll have to talk about it on the NASCAR show. I think he's moving this weekend. So hey, good.
So he's moving out of his dad's basement?
Yes, he is his mom and dad's basement. They split the weekends.
I did not know that.
He still goes to he lives at mom's, but he still goes to his dad's like every other weekend.
Oh, and there you go. Jim said he'll make sure that your links are in the show box on Monday. Yeah, don't worry about it, Jim. He's not that important.
Get some crypto, said AJ's. Okay. I don't want to get bogged down here. We'll go right to it, but I will tell you my one crypto story. I got a neighbor who's really into crypto, okay? And I'd see him every once in a while. I'd try to avoid him, but he finally cornered me one night and said, you need to open an account at crypto.com. If you use my code, you get $25 free. Put it in there, and I get $25 free. I'm like, okay, fine. So I opened an account at crypto.com. I get 25 free bucks. I've never made a transaction. I haven't done anything. Since I opened my account, it's now worth $11.20.
But hey, at least you're still plus $11.
I've killed the fucking crypto market single-handedly ever since I got in, and it went up for a couple days. It was up to like $28. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to buy something here, and then I start watching it. So, all you crypto bros, all you people into crypto, I've killed it. I'm sorry. You're welcome.
And Scott Zach wanted to know if you had a hot take on the Dover race.
Yeah, it's going to be a crapshoot, and it's probably the most important race of the year to find out who qualifies where. And so, because we're not going to have that information when we do the show, I got nothing. I would say, in all seriousness, watch the show, watch our picks, and then see how they line up with qualifying. But if we take somebody, they end up qualifying in the 30s, fucking punt it. Don't bet it, and don't bet this race until you see qualifying. That's my
I would agree with that 100% because it's such a fickle track at Dover.
They
likes to cater to the front runners.
Yeah, they call it like racing in a cereal bowl.
That's about it.
It's like a big version of Bristol. It's a mile-long concrete track with really high banks. So it can either be really fun racing with everybody banging into each other, or it can make for boring runs if everybody gets spread out. So not a lot of passing, watch qualifying, and take everything we say on our NASCAR show, as always, with a grain of salt. So that's my advice. All right, buddy. We talked about the draft. Any surprise? You happy with Buffalo, where they landed, what they got?
Yeah, I mean, getting a corner was something they needed to do. They got to have somebody to play opposite Trey White. I know when I was on LA Bachelor show before, he was excited that they got Levi Wallace, saying that, he's going to help the Steelers. Well, on that show, LA also forgot that Levi Wallace was the guy that didn't cover Tyreek Hill on that 60-yard touchdown in the final 2 minutes of regulation.
Minor details.
So he's tried to tell me he wasn't even on the field. So I had to pull up the clip that showed him falling down at the 45-yard line and watching Tyreek Hill run away.
You know what? He ain't the only guy that Tyreek Hill's broke his ankles.
No, it didn't break his ankles. He just fell down trying to tackle him.
Were you surprised that the heat on Stingley was correct, that he went in front of Sauce?
I am, yeah. I mean, Rich Cimarillo had it right. I mean, I didn't think that. I mean, doesn't Houston have more problems than to worry about drafting a corner third overall? That's your biggest hole that you're trying to plug.
Yeah, I know. Jim says the Monster Mile is wild, but they have a sports casino at the track.
And AJ, you're being generous by saying Levi Wallace was average. He was average at drawing pass or getting called for pass interference. Other than that, I wouldn't rate him too highly.
I feel bad. I was on VSiN. I was on Follow the Money with Mitch and Paulie there on Wednesday morning, and we talked about this the heat behind Stingley, and I thought it was all bullshit. I thought it was
so
all bullshit. I said no, Stoss is still going. And in fairness, they agreed with me. So we all were wrong, but I feel bad for leading them down the path there.
Yeah, I mean, Rich was right and we were wrong. I mean, if there's somebody that's more in tune with it than us, it's going to be Rich. With all the
almost like the guy who's plugged into various NFL front offices around the country has more information than we do.
Yeah, can you believe that?
It's very, very strange.
I am shocked and outraged.
Were you stunned Malik Willis not going?
I was. I'm surprised that Pittsburgh went with Kenny Pickett.
Yep. Me too. Little hand Kenny.
Yeah, Little Hand Kenny's not going to have a good time playing in the weather in December and January and some of those teams up in the AFC North and all that.
Right. Everything we talked about, everything I read with him is like, well, as long as he doesn't go to a cold weather team, he should be fine. Okay. Well, Kitty Two Gloves. Enjoy fucking Heinz Field in January, buddy. That's it.
And were you surprised that Ike Ekwonu went ahead of Evan Neal?
No.
Because I know you thought it might be Neal as the first tackle.
No, I had a spin on Ekwonu as the number one pick.
Really?
Just taking it in case Jacksonville did something goofy.
That might have been smart for them. They need somebody to block.
Well, they locked down the Cam, on the not Cam Akers, but they locked
Cam
down
Irving.
Cam Irving. They locked down the left tackle on
the turnstile.
They made him their franchise player. So
just stupid.
Yeah, I agree. But so they brought in. I thought they might bring in a right tackle, but it's hard to argue with going edge rusher in today's NFL. I agree. So, all right, buddy, you ready to do some work?
We're supposed to do work. What is this?
We've had some fun. Any plus money MLB plays you guys liking today?
Let me look at my screen because I don't remember.
I was going to say, we're gonna get to some of those.
I got a one or two down towards the end, but not at the top because
I'm looking at plus money here. You know what? Mad Bum has been decent for Arizona. If you want,
but I don't trust him against Wainwright.
If you wanted to think Wainwright has another shitty start, he gave up 3 earned and 2 earned to his first 2 innings last time. So
this is Arizona. They don't score any runs.
Maybe reverse run line there.
Good. I was and
I'm loath to bet Arizona. Don't get me wrong.
We talked about that yesterday and they got waxed.
Yeah, they did, and I took them for Michael Clark. I faded him tomorrow. So
did you?
I did.
My biggest one is I'm going to take. I have Minnesota against Tampa Bay. I think Dylan Bundy all of a sudden thinks he can pitch.
Right, dude. I was at the Futures game where Bundy pitched in 2012, and we thought he was going to be something, and then he turned it up not being something. So maybe he's finally living up to his potential after 3 stops, after going to Baltimore, LA, and now in Minnesota. He's off.
Yeah, if you look, he's got a 0.59 ERA.
Yeah, microscopic. Going up against Kluber. Kluber's been okay. ERA.
They pushed him back because he was supposed to go yesterday, and then they pushed him back to today.
Well,
because he got smacked around.
His whip has been awful. People just beat the shit out of him. So that's not a bad play there.
And the other one, it's not plus money, but it's pretty much a push. I went with Seattle over the Marlins. Matt Brash over Elieser Hernandez because I never liked Elieser Hernandez.
Okay.
And his ERA is pushing 6 in 3 starts.
Yeah, I'm just looking at anything else I see. I wouldn't get involved with the Yankees and KC.
As we talked about yesterday.
That was my play of the day, going the other way, fading the Royals. So,
yeah, the other one I liked was I liked Syndergaard and the Angels over the White Sox.
Okay. All right.
Just because the White Sox have been terrible. I mean, come on, they just lost 2 out of 3 to the Royals.
Yeah, they did. They did. Jim said Giants should be a good get. Nats traveled across country. Oh, that's a good point. Yep.
And the Nats have been bad anyway.
Yeah. Anibal Sanchez. Surprise, not good.
I was going to say surprise. He's actually starting.
You're right. He's still putting on a major league uniform. Yeah, Alex Wood. I like the San Francisco pitching staff, even though they got rid of Gausman. Still very solid. So Reds and Royals fades. That's pretty much de rigueur, I would say. I like the that's the other pick I took for Clar is fading Cincinnati tomorrow.
If I was Cincinnati throwing tomorrow, is it Lodolo again?
No, Lodolo is on the 10-day.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's who is it? He's awful. He's making his first start. He's got a career 5.86 ERA.
Oh God, it's not gonna be. They're not gonna start Luis Cessa again, are they?
No, it's not Cessa.
Okay, let me see if MLB's got listed.
Yeah, they do. They do.
No, now they're back to TBD.
Oh, are they really?
According to MLB.com.
Jeff Hoffman, buddy.
They're going to throw an ex-Rocky against the Rockies.
Huh?
Hoffman's an ex-Rocky.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, Jeff Hoffman, career 5.83 ERA.
I wonder if they're not going to, because NBC doesn't have him listed as starting either. So maybe they're going to change their minds.
Well, that's terrific. That'll make my recording seem very relevant. I always love doing. If you guys don't know, we do ESPN radio on Saturday morning in Denver, and we do recordings, and we record them on Thursday because they have to be turned or Friday morning. They have to be turned in by noon Friday, basically. So it's always a crapshoot with baseball because sometimes the pitchers listed aren't the pitchers that end up going 36 hours later. So.
Yeah, it says one assumes that either Cessa or Hoffman would draw the, quote, start, and then followed by several other relievers after the third.
I got to think that even if it's Cessa, I don't feel any different about that pick.
I wouldn't.
I'm still on the Rockies run line there. White Sox have so many injuries, and no one cares about them. It's a Cubs city.
That's true. Nobody does care about the White Sox. I'm wondering how long it's going to be before they decide to fire Tony La Russa because they're like, oh, well, we're 7-11 and we lost 8 games in a row and he's 800 years old.
Scott and I talked about that. I think La Russa will last the entire season. I think they give him that much respect. I don't think they fire him at any point.
I don't know. What if they're 15 games out at the All-Star break? I mean, it's unlikely given how bad the AL Central is.
Maybe, but I mean, if you're 15 games out in the Central, there's a good chance a lot of people on your team are dead.
Well, I mean, look at the White Sox. I mean, Jimenez is out 6 to 8 weeks with that torn tendon in his hamstring. Moncada hasn't played yet. He's, I think he's going on a rehab assignment. Luis Robert, hurt himself last week. I'm not sure if he's coming back yet or not. But,
they're turning into the Cincinnati Reds of the American.
Yeah, except they actually had players.
Yeah, they started with something. So.
Oh, okay. Robert was supposed to be back yesterday. I don't know if he actually played or not, but he missed a week already.
Yep.
Lance Lynn's still out. He hasn't pitched yet.
In fairness, nobody can stop the Royals.
Is that what it? Yeah, the Royals. The guy who when I said, yeah, Daniel Lynch is going to beat the White Sox, and you're like, no, Daniel Lynch is a piece of shit. I wouldn't pick that guy.
Well, we'll see if Bubic listens to the show because it was obviously obvious Daniel Lynch listens to the show because he turned in. To fucking Sandy Koufax or Steve Carlton when he pitched. So we'll see if we can do the same thing to Bubic because Bubic has been awful. Can I interest you in a 3-0 whip, buddy?
Yeah, I saw that. And his ERA is 14 and change.
Yeah, and he's earned it. And the thing is, he's made 3 starts. One of them was decent. He gave up 2 runs and 4 1/3. I mean, he still walked 6 guys, but. He didn't give up a shit ton of runs, so most of that damage was done in 2 games.
Yeah, just look at it. Let's see here. Yeah, 2 innings, 5 runs on 7 hits, 1 a walk, 1 strikeout against the Mariners. Like you said, he had that good outing against Detroit, and then he started against Cleveland. 5 runs on 3 hits and 2 walks in 2/3 of an inning in that close game where the Browns beat the Chiefs 17-3.
Yeah, luckily we managed a late field goal. I was at Bubich's first game as a Royal. He pitched against Brandon Woodruff of the Milwaukee Brewers and beat him 1-0. I'm like, holy shit, this guy's going to be a monster. And
he's a monster, just not the way you thought.
Yeah, I think he's probably had one good outing since then. So.
Oh, and I see that Mondesi's done for the year.
Not surprising. ACL.
Dayton Moore said he was diagnosed with a torn ACL.
Yep. That's,
so another stellar year for Adalberto Mondesi.
Alberto.
Who hit
no longer Raul.
That's right. He changed his freaking name, didn't he?
Yep. I'm not sure.
His season ends batting 140.
I'm not sure. Well, that's about what he's hit since he's been in the majors. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think if I recall, he was the only guy with like however many at bats at this point, maybe 50 at bats, that didn't have an extra base hit.
Yeah, he's 7 for 50, and like you said, they were all singles. Struck out in 20 of his 50 at bats. He did draw 4 walks.
So that's a lot for a Royal, by the way. If you draw 4 walks every 50 at bats, you're a fucking star.
I don't know. Whit Merrifield draws a lot of walks, doesn't he?
And so does Benintendi and Santana, but that's it.
I was gonna say Perez, but I know he likes to swing.
Oh God, no, Perez doesn't walk. No, you could do a shot every time Perez takes a walk and be stone cold sober at the end of the season. Yeah, that's.
To your point, he's walked 3 times in 70 plate appearances.
That's stunning. That's stunning that he's walked 3 times.
What's funny is last year he had almost twice as many homers as walks.
Yep, that's our boy. A bit of a free swinger.
I guess so. I didn't realize he was quite that much. His career high walks came last year when he walked 28 times.
I was going to say 25. That would have been my guess. So yeah, I know he's never walked 30 times. Thanks, Jim. Said like to pick on the Angels. Appreciate it. All right, Chris. No,
I thought I made the pick on the Angels. You just jumped in.
Sure, whatever. you know who makes those picks. As my favorite pinball used to say, my favorite pinball machine used to say, "Stop talking and start chalking." You remember play 8-Ball Deluxe? One of my favorites.
No, I never saw that one.
All right. What do we got, buddy? What do we got for tonight?
Well, we'll start with the Padres and the Pirates.
Arr.
San Diego, they're 13-7, but they've won 7 out of 10 games on the road. You figure it out. Maybe you Darvish, for some reason, he can't pitch most of the time, but he pitches pretty well against Pittsburgh. But this is where you can insert Reichel saying, "I could pitch against Pittsburgh and get a win," because that's what he would tell you.
I could go 5 innings against Pittsburgh.
In his career, Darvish is 3-2, but he's got an ERA of 2.40 in 8 career starts with a 0.781 WHIP, 6 walks, and 52 strikeouts over 48 2/3 innings against Pittsburgh. And let's face it, Zach Thompson has been bad. 0-2, an ERA of 10.80. He's got a WHIP of 2.7. He's walked 7 and struck out 9 over 10 innings, and that's in 3 starts. He's in Chris Bubich territory there, Scott.
Yeah, no
in case you're wondering about Thompson, he was part of the exciting game this weekend at Wrigley Field where the Pirates were beaten in a close game by a score of 21-0.
See, that's what happens when you can't get that field goal on the board.
Yeah, in that game, he gave up 9 runs. Only 4 were earned on 9 hits. So just think about how bad his ERA could have been.
How many of the hits were
earned? 2 walks, a strikeout. He gave up 1 homer.
Do you think it's fair that if somebody makes an error with 1 out or with 2 outs, and then they load the bases, hit a home run, all those runs are unearned?
Well, do you think they should be earned?
Yes, I do. I think if you put the guys on base and you give up the home run, you fucking wear those runs.
But if he doesn't put the guy on base,
third out. I understand the logic. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I see where you're going.
Sometimes the logic.
Maybe they should come up with fielding ERAs.
Well, that's why ERA has to be taken with a grain of salt.
True.
A lot of times, I'd much rather look at WHIP. And I wonder, I'm also. Are you a FIP guy or are you a FIP plus, ERA plus? You look at any of that stuff?
Yeah, I usually keep an eye on the FIP ERAs too.
I like to see the difference. If there's a big disparity, that kind of gets a little bells and whistles.
Yeah, let's see what Thompson's FIP ERA is. It is 7.27.
Ooh. So he's earning every one of those runs.
Yes, I mean, I guess you could say, he's 3.5 runs better with the FIP ERA. But I mean, do you really want to lean on that?
Yeah, it doesn't translate exactly, but that's definitely a red flag there. Can the Red Sox take care of the O's pitching prospect?
Yeah, Kyle Bradish is up to start tonight. He's making his major league debut. Bradish has been good down at Norfolk. I actually wrote this game for Winners and Winers yesterday. I actually like Boston. I think Rich Hill, he's 87 years old. Been pitching since.
That's the other Dodger guy I was talking about when we talk about the Dodgers jettisoning their pitchers at the right time. Rich Hill was the other one I couldn't think of.
Pitching since the Nixon administration, I think.
I am not a pitcher.
But I think, Hill's capable enough of shutting down Baltimore. He's familiar with them. He played there for a year or so back in, the 2009 season.
Back in the 30s.
Yeah.
I'm too tempted by the low number on Boston at -125. Call me a sucker for value.
Yeah, it actually went down because it was 145 yesterday when I originally wrote the game up. So
there you go.
At 125, I like it even more.
People pounding that Baltimore pitcher. Well, we'll see. We'll see how they.
Yeah, who doesn't? I mean, they might be slowed early on because nobody knows anything about Bradish since he hasn't pitched in the majors yet.
You see those starts usually go one of two ways. You don't see a lot of middle ground. You either see him come in and absolutely deal for 5 innings or so, or you see him get lit up because the moment is too big for him in their first start.
Which way do you lean here? Do you lean towards him getting lit up like Rockefeller Center, or do you look at him being Bo Brisky again like we saw last weekend?
I think he does okay. I think it could be a tough game until he gets out of there because the kid's got some great stats in the minors.
Yeah, that's true.
I know he's pitched very well down in Norfolk. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Red Sox struggle. This is a Red Sox team that they had a couple of decent performances there at Toronto, but for the most part, they've been really struggling to score runs. They put up 7.
We talked about that game yesterday too. Remember, we said Whitlock and Manoah, and it ended up 1-0.
Yeah. It's one of those games where nobody knows nothing. So, Justin says Orioles plus money is a live dog. No question about it. I just wish we were getting somewhere around 130, 135. I'd be a lot more interested in that price. I wouldn't be adverse to taking a first 5 play on the Orioles. In case
they tend to do better in the first 5 and then they fall apart.
In case the kid comes out and deals, we'll see. Okay, so you got the pods there.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on that? Are you the run line's almost even?
Any thoughts? Padres are at home.
No, Padres are it's at PNC Park.
Oh yeah, run line then. Yeah, I'm fine with the run line. I'm good with that.
Pods are third in the majors and runs on the road. So
yeah, they've been fantastic in their road games as well. So
which is weird.
It is. Yeah, I'm good with that.
And then we'll move on to the game that Scott doesn't want to talk about, the Yankees and the Royals.
There's a good chance it's going to get rained out, by the way.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
I should have gotten the weather forecast from you during the pre-show, but
weather. We got rain early. It stopped for a while, and it's supposed to start up sometime in the evening. So we'll see. They may get it in. They probably won't get the whole game in. Just put it that way.
Well, five innings might be enough for if Bubic is on the mound.
I know it will be for me.
You can get it. You probably make a drinking game out of every time he walks somebody. You'll be passed out by the 3rd inning.
There's a drunk game. Yep.
Nestor Cortez, a 1.15 ERA, a 0.638 WHIP, 3 walks and 25 strikeouts, and 15 2/3 against the aforementioned Bubic with his 14.14 ERA, a 3 WHIP, 9 walks, 5 strikeouts. Scott, is there anything good you can say about Bubic?
He didn't steal my dog.
There you go.
I hear he's nice to children. Scott Rochelle and I have a running joke about this. He has good stuff. It doesn't translate into success, but man, he's got good stuff, and that's kind of the way I feel about Bubic. And you watch him, like all those young Royals pitchers. Every once in a while, they'll come out and they'll throw an inning or two, or sometimes even a whole appearance. And you're like, God damn, why can't you do this every time? And they can't. So yes, he does have good stuff. He's a big lefty. He brings it, kind of a funky delivery. He does have the tools, but he just hasn't been able to translate it to success on the field. So the best thing I'll say about Bubic is he's not there yet. How about that?
All right, there you go. And the interesting thing is, the Yankees are 9th in runs per game, but they're 29th in runs on the road at 2.5. Meanwhile, the Royals are 28th in runs at home at 2.6. Does that mean you're going to lean towards the under here, Scott?
Nope, not a bit. Royals team total under, yes.
There you go. So Scott has no faith in his own team.
No, well, yeah. If you've watched me at all, that should be no surprise.
Take note, he sold out on Daniel Lynch the other day.
That's right. I was wrong about another left-hander when I said he was absolute a bucket of shit, and he turned in a great performance, going 6 innings, two hits, no runs. So,
but there you go. Scott agrees that the Royals will probably lose this one. What do you make of Cortez? Do you think all of a sudden he's suddenly found something? Because he was a middle of the road reliever before, and now all of a sudden he's striking guys out like he's Nolan Ryan in his prime.
I wonder about that. We talked about that yesterday about guys coming in from the bullpen and having to learn how to pitch as opposed to just throw. With the max effort, you've got to learn how to pitch at about 85%. Being a starter so far, he's been able to do that really well. I do wonder if it's sustainable. 3 starts is 3 starts. I'm glad he's off to a great beginning there. Talk to me at June 1st, and we'll see how Cortez is doing. I don't think that those numbers are going to take much of a hit tonight. How about that?
Yeah, if you look, you're just talking about FIP ERA. His FIP ERA 128. So
that means he's not doing it with mirrors. That means those numbers are not bullshit.
Right, and just
128 FIP is fantastic.
Just for comparison's sake, you know what Bubic's FIP is?
Don't do it. 9.
735.
Okay. Oh, see, he's better than I thought. Brutal. Now, I will say this: the one thing the Royals don't do is they don't give up a lot of home runs, and the Yankees have been hitting the long ball. So it may not be an absolute score fest because those balls may stay in the park. I'm assuming the wind is blowing out of the south, which is going to be the Royals Bowl Stadium is laid out like a normal stadium. The south points to home plate, so there will be some balls carrying tonight. We'll see what happens. I have a friend of mine that was an engineer, and he swore the balls traveled better in damp air than dry air.
Yeah, I see it says the weather forecast says thunderstorms, some severe this afternoon through late tonight. Storms can bring downpours, large hail, damaging winds, and a tornado.
Yep. We got the full spectrum tonight, buddy. It's
fantastic. The wind, you're correct. It's coming from the east-southeast at the moment.
Yep, that's blowing dead out to center field because it skews just a little bit to the east. So that's blowing dead to center.
So there we go. Scott says, "Don't take the Royals."
No, don't do it.
Book them, Dano.
Or you can take my track record into account when I said don't bet Daniel Lynch and plan accordingly. So
all right, so we'll move on to the NHL real quick.
Either way, I get to say I told you so. That's
what
I like about it. Yeah, go ahead. NHL. Hit me with some ice.
We'll take the Tampa Bay Lightning over the Islanders tonight. The Islanders, of course, going nowhere. They did beat the Capitals again last night. Tampa Bay needs to win or at least get to overtime to get a point that will clinch the 3rd seed in the Atlantic Division. If they lose in regulation and Boston beats Toronto, then it would be the Bruins taking the 3rd seed, and that would put Tampa Bay up against Carolina in the opening round. Scott, I know you love hockey. What do you make of this game? You got anything you want to talk about with the Islanders and the Lightning?
I do like the Islanders. They are. If I have a hockey team, they are my team. However, this hockey situation has kind of thrown me this week with everybody in must-win mode, and none of those teams winning. So you had what do you have? Vegas. You had the Wild, right?
Yeah. And the Wild didn't need to win, really.
Well, they needed a point, right?
The Stars,
yeah, or the Stars, rather. Sorry,
the former
Minnesota team, right? So, the whole must-win thing. We've talked about that ad nauseum. How it's really kind of bullshit for the most part. Having said that, do I like the Islanders playing for nothing? Oh God. Okay, all right. Give me the Isles. I'll take that.
All right, Scott's going to take the Islanders just so we can say, hey, we won this game one way or the other.
I just haven't been impressed with the must-win scenarios.
Well, that's true, but technically they don't need. Technically, Tampa doesn't need to win if Boston loses, but
Right? Well, that's not how I count that as a must-win. Sorry.
Okay, well, we'll talk about Tampa Bay anyway, just because the Islanders have issues putting the puck in the net, and that's kind of how you have to win games in the National Hockey League. They tell me, at least that's what I heard from John Buchagras, and he seems to know a little bit about the sport. Moving on, we'll talk about the Blues and Scott's favorite team, the Golden Knights, who 0 for 17 in their last 17 shootout attempts. That's why they're not going to the playoffs for the first time in franchise history. They get to go on the road, close out their season in the Gateway City at the Enterprise Center. I remember the Checker Dome, Scott. You remember the Checker Dome?
I saw Supertramp in the Checker Dome when I was in college. Yes, I did.
So that wasn't the Breakfast in America tour then?
That was it had just come out, and I was like, why are they playing all this shit? It had literally come out the week before the concert, and I'm listening to all the like, fuck, I wanted to hear Even in the Quietest Moments and everything off of that. And
you didn't like Breakfast in America, the album?
What's that?
You didn't like the Breakfast in America album, or was it just because of the recency bias? Because it was right before the concert, you wanted to hear old stuff.
It was fine. It was sometimes bands take entirely new directions, and it's not the best thing. And I think that was the case with Supertramp. I'm old. I liked old Supertramp better. Of course, I like Journey before Steve Perry too. So again, take my opinion.
See, I like Steve Perry and Journey. I didn't like Steve Augeri. I don't like Arnold Pineda.
Really?
Yeah, I guess it's just because I grew up with I grew up with the Frontiers album and Raised on Radio and all that.
Right.
And Perry was there. No, if I was racist, I would have said Randy Jackson shouldn't have been on the one album. But he was a good guitar player.
Dude, he's touring with them now.
That's what I had heard.
Playing bass, yeah.
I was disappointed they got rid of Ross Valerie, but that's for a different show.
That's going to be a no from me, dog. Go ahead.
But yeah, the Blues 4th in goals for, 11th in goals against. Vegas is, at least Jack Eichel gets to keep his non-playoff streak alive. Made all that fuss about getting out of Buffalo and went somewhere else where he's not going to go to the postseason. I'm going to take the Blues here. You have any thoughts?
Knights are dead to me. Take the Blues.
There you go. And that's not even geographical bias.
No. The Allie Burns curse. There you go, Jim. Yeah, no shit.
And now we'll go to the NBA where, Scott, the Memphis Grizzlies take on the Timberwolves. And to quote Apollo Creed from Rocky III, there is no tomorrow.
That's right.
There is no tomorrow.
Thank you. Very good. Good modulation too, buddy.
For the Minnesota Timberwolves. Can they win tonight, Scott?
Yes.
Playing at home?
Yes, they can.
Of course, take note, this is the same Scott Steen that took the New Orleans Pelicans last night.
You're welcome. Also had Toronto. Also had Toronto.
Well, we all had Toronto, but
we'll talk about that one. We only missed it by 36 points.
Yeah, they played well in the first half. I don't know what happened to them in the third quarter. I guess they forgot that they had to play 2 halves of basketball.
Like Mike Damone in the locker room at Fast Times. I don't know what happened. He's having a great day, Yeah, I'm on the other side of this one, buddy. But I think it could go either way. I don't think it's going to be. I think if Memphis wins, it's not going to be close. I think
so. If Memphis wins, it'll be like last night.
Yes, I think if Memphis wins, and maybe not last night, won't be 35 points, but I think if Memphis wins, they win by double digits.
Now, do you think Minnesota's kicking themselves at all? Because if they had closed out Game 3 and if they had closed out Game 5,
I know
this series would be over already.
I understand. If they are well coached, they are focused. They are not thinking about that. But it's hard not to be. It's hard not to go down that road. I agree. But you have to be ready. You got to play the games that are in front of you, not behind you.
I mean, the closest thing I can say about those meltdowns would be, and Jim will know what I'm talking about, and so will you, because I'm sure you remember the 1993 AFC wildcard game at Rich Stadium with the Houston Oilers and the Buffalo Bills.
A bit of a second half comeback there.
Yeah, where and the funniest thing that I'd reference it a lot is you listen to the Houston broadcaster like, well, the lights are on at Rich Stadium. They've been on since this morning, but you can pretty much turn them out on the Bills now. And then, of course, Houston completely melted down and lost. And
Frank Reich, baby. Frank Reich, not even Jim Kelly.
That led to the end of, Jack Pardee as a useful coach in the National Football League.
The party was over.
Yeah, exactly. Pardee in the USA was no longer a hit. I'm worried about Minnesota. They've got a lot of young guys. They haven't been to the postseason. They don't know. how to close games out. We've seen it happen in this series twice now, and I guess the fun thing is you can say you don't know what you don't know, but sooner or later you got to win games. And Michael, the game ended up 41-38 in overtime in that game. And the fun part was when I watched it on TV, and I still watch it every Thanksgiving because it's something to watch when I'm cooking, is Charlie Jones going in the third quarter. He's like, you got to love it unless you're in Houston. And then you got Todd Christensen over there who looks like he just ate a bunch of lemons,
Well, we had one of those ourselves in Indianapolis with the Chiefs a few years back.
I remember that game.
Where I changed seats at halftime where I was watching it. And I said, man, I hope that's not bad luck. And my buddy laughed at me, and they're not laughing anymore. So
then they probably don't let you come over anymore either.
Nope. So you got the Grizz here.
Yeah, I'm just worried about Minnesota.
I get you. I just think they step up. I think they step up tonight, but I wouldn't be stunned if they didn't. But
yeah, by all means, if Minnesota steps up, hey, there's a game 7. Hey, why not? It'd be the only one we have in the first round.
Yep, I think they get it done tonight. So,
and now that takes us to the fun part of the show, Scott.
Let's do it. Get your pens ready. Start writing this shit down. Not you. You've already got it written down. I mean, everybody listening.
Yeah, you should write it down unless you're gonna, take the slides. The Yankees and the Royals. I'm not going to embarrass Scott anymore by talking about Bubic. We'll just leave it at that. And like I said, I like Memphis over Minnesota. Scott likes the Timberwolves because he thinks they'll actually figure out how to play 48 minutes of basketball instead of 47 minutes and change.
Yep.
The Lightning over the Islanders. Scott said he'll take the Islanders just because.
Well, because I haven't been impressed with the must-win scenarios yet. I think it's a good price on the Islanders. Islanders played good yesterday. We'll see. It's pride versus gotta have it. So we'll see what happens.
And the Blues over the Golden Knights. And Scott said Vegas is dead to him.
Dead to me. I do like that.
So that takes care of that part.
Okay.
Now moving on.
Yep.
To 4 for the show. We're going to go with the Padres over the Buccos, which we talked about. Zach Thompson, another rough start.
Yep.
Just shows the Pirates are bad. I'm going to go with the Red Sox over the Orioles. I did notice it had gone down to 125 when I did the slide. When I sent out the premiums last night, it was 145.
Okay.
I'm going to take the Stars over the Ducks. It doesn't mean anything to anybody, but the Stars are at home, and Anaheim's a bad road team. And Florida and Montreal. Hey, why not have the last game of the season for these teams be the best team in the league against the worst team in the league?
Solid.
Carey Price 0-4. He missed 75 games of the season before coming back. Now they're getting paid $10 million to play 5 games.
I like it.
It's like John Wall, who played no games, got $40 million in the NBA.
Man.
Somebody can send me a cut of that money.
Stealing money.
It's like Necessary Roughness with Rob Schneider. You seen that movie, Scott? About the Texas State Armadillos?
Yeah, I know. Was it Scott Bakula?
Yeah.
Yep.
And he's like, now's not the time to make sure everybody's played. Hey, I haven't played. I'm not in there.
Good point.
Chuck Niederman. And, it's an underrated movie.
It's all right.
But, yeah, I'm going to take the Panthers over the Canadians there. And that takes us to – where are we going, Scott?
Shot in the dark, buddy.
There you
Shot
go.
in the dark. Let's do it.
Shot in the dark, and you're too late.
You're to blame.
I'm going to take the Mariners over the Marlins like we talked about. It's a pretty even line, really. Get some good value on the money line, though. Plus 150 for the Mariners.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to go with the Twins over the Rays like we talked about. I think Dylan Bundy, maybe he figured something out all of a sudden. I mean, 3-0, 0.59 ERA. Can't argue with that. Kluber's been, I don't know, is dismal the right word? Mediocre.
Slightly below average, yeah.
I'm not convinced he's going to get anything done. I'm going to take the Mets over the Phillies. I think McGill has pitched pretty well, acquitting himself as the number 1 guy after DeGrom went on the injured list. He's still not back yet. So, and Aaron Nola, he pitched well Sunday, but how much of that was aided by Angel Hernandez's strike zone, which is basically if you throw the ball anywhere within the vicinity of the batter's boxes, it's a strike.
I think the most impressive part of that Angel Hernandez is able to walk to the plate without his cane. tapping the ground to see where he's headed.
Unfortunately, Dylan Bundy is not related to King Kong Bundy. The late King Kong Bundy's real name was Chris Pallies. The walking condominium with legs, as Gorilla Monsoon used to say. Scott, you got any King Kong Bundy stories?
No, I don't.
You don't remember from WrestleMania 2?
I remember. It's like ships that pass in the night. It's over, man. I can't live in the ring for.
He is related to Al Bundy.
God damn. I remember Al Bundy. Al Bundy. A lot more than I watched King Kong Bundy. Put it that way.
I'm going to take the Braves over the Rangers. It's supposed to be Ian Anderson, not Ian Anderson from Jethro Tull, by the way, in case you were wondering.
Oh, dude, we did that joke all last year. It's over.
Yeah, this isn't your show, remember?
We did every Jethro Tull song we could think of.
I'm sure Reichel doesn't even know who Jethro Tull is.
He does. He keeps calling Ian Anderson Jethro Tull. It pisses me off. Now he does it just to piss me off. Because he knows there's nobody in the band named Jethro Tull.
So just tell Reichel that he's thick as a brick and move on.
There you go. I really don't mind if I sit this one out. Go ahead.
Yeah, Garrett Richards starting for the Rangers.
The Night Rangers?
Walker, Texas Ranger.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my bad.
Brandon Zerfus says that Al Bundy's the most underrated athlete of all time. That's right. He scored 4 touchdowns in a single game at Polk High, damn it.
Single game, buddy. Single game. By the way, do you follow 3-Year Letterman on Twitter?
No, is it a good follow?
It's the best. It's the absolute
check it out.
best. Follow 3-Year Letterman on Twitter. It's one of the funniest fucking accounts out there.
I'm going to look for Memphis and Minnesota to stay under 229. Scott, what did you have on that one?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I think this is I think the collars start getting a little bit tight, and we could see a few more missed shots tonight. I'm good with the under there as well.
Now I went with Morant to post a double-double. There's a little bit of juice there. If you wanted to go the triple-double route, by the way, John Morant's going at plus 525. Would you sprinkle some money there?
That would mean he'd have to pass, so I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, he's had double-doubles in 3 games. He had 1 triple-double.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm just somebody said John Morant. Nobody's talking about him. You think that's the case, Chris?
I don't know if nobody's talking about it. I think it's just you don't hear as much about him because he's in a small market. If he was in Los Angeles or New York, you'd hear about him every 5 seconds.
Not a great shooter. Can we say that?
I would agree with that. I mean, he's a volume shooter.
He is, and he can drive. He's fast. He's quick. He's quick to the basket. But personally, I don't know if I'm the coach. If he pulls up from 20 feet, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong? You're doing push-ups like Willie Mays Hayes. You start taking every time he shoots from beyond 18 feet, right there, hit the deck. Give me 10.
Yeah, he shot 49.3% in the regular season, but he only shot 34.4 from 3-point range. And in the playoffs, he's at 40.2 from the field.
From the field, yeah.
Yeah, and 26.7 from 3.
That's exactly how it feels. I'm glad to think that wasn't just selective recall, because it seemed like he hadn't shot well in this series yet. So
yeah, I look for Karl Anthony Towns to go over 39.5 points, rebounds, and assists, because let's face it, if the Timberwolves are going to win this game,
got to go,
or hang in this game, he's going to have to step up. He can't have another game like Game 3.
Cat's got to go. Yep.
The Rangers over the Caps, because like Jim said in the comments there, the Caps are deflated.
Yes.
Kind of like Tom Brady's footballs a few years ago.
Thank you. Good night.
I'm going to take the Sabres over the Blackhawks in the game that nobody cares about, because it's the Sabres and the Blackhawks. Neither one of those teams are going anywhere.
Right.
And finally, in the doormat game of the week, the Ottawa Senators over the Philadelphia Flyers. We faded the Flyers all season long because they can't beat a wet paper bag. I think the Senators will bounce back from last night's shutout loss at the hands of the Panthers by solving Martin, don't call me Dr. Jones, because he's been terrible.
Okay. All right. There you go.
Any closing thoughts, Scott?
Brandon Zerfus agrees with me that 3-Year Letterman is a hilarious follow. Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to have to check that out.
Yep. Yeah, there's 10 picks. It's last day of the NHL regular season, of course, as we talked about. So be careful with the motivation angle. Make sure you factor all that in. Watch the weather when it comes to NBA games. I know, or MLB.
Watch out for the weather in the NBA games. You never know if
they're playing on the aircraft carrier again. Disregard that last day. But no, when it comes to the Major League Baseball game, keep an eye on the weather. I know there's some some unsettled weather across the country. Make sure you check the wind. That's the biggest tip I can give you when you're betting baseball.
But that's a good tip.
Is always check the wind and check the orientation of the stadium. You'll find most stadiums are drawn up with the home plate towards the south, but some are exactly the opposite. A few are exactly the opposite.
And always watch for last minute pitching changes, because God knows that some of these teams are like, well, we don't know who we're going to start. We're going to start.
And that brings me to a point that we usually talk about when it comes to betting. I don't know if we touched on it this year. When you're making your bet, you have an option of action, which means whoever pitches, you've still got that bet, or starting pitchers listed, which means both of those pitchers have to go, or some even have where you can take one or the other. So make sure you've got the correct box that you want. If you just think the Yankees are going to roll no matter what fucking hack the Royals throw out there, then take action. If you're only fading Bubich, make sure you take starting pitchers. So
there you go. That's a good point too, because sometimes that's something that gets overlooked a lot.
Yep, absolutely true. So, any final thoughts from you, my friend, before we get out of here?
Well, I mean, it's been a good first week here. Scott taking over for the aforementioned Jim Williams, and we've had a lot of fun. We hope you've had some fun.
Yep.
We hope you'll come back and see us on Monday, and don't forget to tune in for the rest of the Max Wagers team with Sean Higgs with Midday Money at 12, Allie and sometimes Detroit Lenny at 1 with the Plus Money Honey there. Then there's us at 2, and in a couple minutes you'll get to see Steen again with Ryshell.
You ain't had enough of my shit yet. We got more, buddy.
On beat the Dolts. No, I mean it's back to the window. Michael wants you to sing out the show with Aqualung, Scott.
We're just about done now.
Maybe we can get Ron Burgundy to play the jazz flute.
Nice.
Then at 4, now we've got Sean Miller bringing up soccer and all that good stuff. And then at 5, it's the law firm of Tim, Nick, and Detroit Lenny with Game Time Decisions. So we got you chock full with plenty of betting information and good stuff, plus some good slapstick comedy.
There you go.
From noon to 6 every day during the week.
We do our best. We do our best to churn out a bunch of good content. We appreciate it. All we ask in return is that you do get over there and make sure you smash the subscribe button at the
and give us a bunch of money
and Max Wagers Network. So, and give us a bunch of money. No, hey, you guys have been great as always. Thanks for checking in. Thanks for all the great comments. As Chris said, stay tuned. I'll be back here in just a couple minutes with my pal Scott Reichel as we do our show Back to the Window. But that's going to do it for the week of Just Parlays. Hopefully you've had some success and had some fun. I wish you nothing but the best. Have a great weekend from me and Chris. You guys take care, and we'll see you bright and early Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern time as once again we delve into the world of Just Parlays. You guys take care. We'll see you then.